Her names were chiseled from temple walls, her statue smashed, her image hacked from stone. She had ruled Egypt for 2 decades, presiding over stability, trade with distant lands, and one of the most ambitious building programs of the ancient world. Her name was Hatshepsut. In 3,000 years of pharaonic history, almost no woman ever held the full throne. She did. And someone wanted the world to forget. Ancient Egyptian kingship was designed as a male office. At its theological core, the ruler served as the earthly embodiment of Horus, the falcon-headed god of kingship, sustaining order under the divine model of father-to-son succession. To place a woman on the throne was to disrupt the religious system that held the civilization together. Over 3 millennia of dynastic history, only a tiny handful of women ever claimed the supreme title of pharaoh. Among them were Sobekneferu of the 12th dynasty and much later Tusret of the 19th. But these reigns were short, corrective measures during times of severe dynastic collapse. Hatshepsut of the 18th dynasty, ruling from approximately 1479 to 1458 BCE, diverged from the centuries-old tradition. She did not merely hold power during a brief crisis. She assumed the full, 5-fold royal titulary of king during a period of stability and peace. Her rise posed a direct question to the Nile Valley. Could the political structures of Egypt accept a female pharaoh? Or would her reign be treated as a threat to the divine order? Hatshepsut's claim to power rested on a flawless royal pedigree. As the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I and his great royal wife Ahmose, she carried the purest dynastic bloodline of the early 18th dynasty. She consolidated this status by marrying her half-brother Thutmose II, assuming the traditional role of great royal wife. When Thutmose II died prematurely around 1479 BCE, the throne passed to his infant son, Thutmose III, born to a secondary wife. Because the new king was too young to govern, Hatshepsut stepped in to serve as regent. This role was a recognized administrative necessity, designed to protect the young heir and maintain the continuity of the state. But the regency also created a temporary political opening in a succession system built entirely around male inheritance. Hatshepsut's rise followed a slow, calculated progression. She moved from royal daughter to queen, and then to national caretaker. The political machinery of Egypt now faced an unprecedented situation, raising the question of how a temporary regent would transform her custody of the throne into absolute permanent authority. To secure her position, Hatshepsut adopted the full 5-fold royal titulary of a king, choosing the throne name Matkari. This established her legal status as a sovereign ruler. In official monuments, her presentation moved from queenly dress to traditional pharaonic regalia, portraying her in the Nemes headdress, the royal kilt, and the ceremonial false beard. To provide sacred authority, she commissioned elaborate divine birth reliefs at Deir el-Bahari, claiming the state god Amun as her biological father who chose her to rule before her birth. This iconography did not attempt to disguise her sex, but rather to make her reign intelligible within an office that only understood male kingship. Her authority now rested on both political necessity and divine endorsement, ensuring that her position was absolute. Hatshepsut's long-term administration, spanning roughly 22 years from 1479 to 1458 BCE, was defined by internal stability and extensive economic growth. Without the drain of major military conflicts, she directed the wealth of the Nile Valley into an ambitious national building program. At Karnak, she expanded the precinct of the state god Amun, raising giant red granite obelisks and constructing the Red Chapel. Her architectural masterpiece, however, rose on the west bank of the Nile at Deir el-Bahari. Designed by her close advisor Senenmut, the mortuary temple known as Djeser Djeseru integrated 3 tiers of colonnaded terraces directly into the sheer limestone cliffs, creating a monumental complex that served as the grand stage for her royal cult. Alongside domestic construction, Hatshepsut used foreign trade to secure her position and enrich the state treasury. Around 1480 BCE, she commissioned a massive maritime expedition to the distant trade hub of Punt, located along the coast of East Africa. A fleet of 5 large ships traveled down the Red Sea to secure luxury goods directly from their source. The voyage was recorded in detailed reliefs on the walls of Deir el-Bahari, which cataloged the vast cargo brought back to Egypt. The ships returned loaded with gold, ivory, ebony, and exotic animals. Most notable, however, was the transport of 31 live myrrh trees, carried back with their root systems intact in baskets. These trees were successfully replanted in the sandy soil of the temple gardens, establishing a domestic source for the sacred incense used in temple rituals. This successful enterprise provided material proof of her capability, demonstrating to her subjects that under her command, the trade routes were open, the economy was secure, and the gods looked favorably upon the ruler of Egypt. Decades after Hatshepsut's death, a systematic campaign began to erase her from the physical landscape of Egypt. Across the Nile Valley, workers chiseled her royal throne name, Mortuary, out of temple walls, obelisks, and stone blocks. Rather than letting her images decay naturally, workers systematically hacked them from monuments, leaving hollowed phantom silhouettes where a king once stood. Massive granite sphinxes and towering limestone statues were dragged down, shattered at predictable structural weak points like the neck and waist, and buried in deep quarry pits near her mortuary temple. This was not random vandalism, but a coordinated state-directed operation. The suppression extended beyond stone into the official written record. In the Abydos king list, her name is completely omitted, skipping her entire reign in the sequence of rulers. The physical evidence presents a stark historical problem. If her 22-year reign brought stability, wealth, and monumental architecture, why did the state go to such extreme labor-intensive lengths to ensure she was never remembered? For decades, historians assumed her successor, Thutmose III, acted out of immediate personal resentment. But modern archaeological evidence reveals that the campaign of destruction did not begin until the final decade of his 30-year sole reign, nearly 25 years after Hatshepsut's death. This long delay challenges the simple revenge theory. Instead, scholars propose a calculated political motive. By erasing a highly successful female pharaoh, the state could restore the official narrative of an unbroken line of male rulers, thereby securing the succession of Thutmose III's own son. Yet the debate remains active. Some Egyptologists argue the breakage patterns point to a standard ritual practice of deactivating royal monuments to transition power. Rather than a simple act of anger, the destruction represents a highly contested effort to manage both dynastic memory and divine authority. The sheer scale of Hatshepsut's building program made complete erasure impossible. While the campaign of destruction was extensive, it left a clear physical trail across the Nile Valley. In the early 20th century, excavators began recovering thousands of shattered stone fragments and defaced statues from quarry pits near her temple. By analyzing these uniform tool marks, the chiseled cartouches, and the vacant spaces on temple walls, historians reconstructed her 22-year reign. The very gaps left by the ancient stonemasons became the primary clues for her modern reconstruction. Today, she is recognized as one of Egypt's most successful rulers. The ultimate irony of the campaign remains. The immense effort to destroy her monuments preserved the exact evidence that restored her to history. Today, the scars of this ancient erasure serve as the roadmap to her recovery. In carving away her name, her successors preserved her silhouette forever. Hatshepsut's legacy proves that history's loudest truths are often those we tried hardest to silence. Share your thoughts below.